So at this moment, we just want to take this moment to honor the first black female to serve as a city council member in the 31st district. And I'm going to invite Kamisha to give her. Oh, and not only that too, but also, you said you corrected me. You see, I get based upon certain people's bio, I get my information mixed up. But she's the first. She's still being honored today because she's also the first black female majority whip of the New York City Council. So I just want to invite Councilmember Brooks, Sylvina Brooks Powers, to come forward as we bestow this honor upon her. And Pastor Martin will actually say a couple of words first before she actually does.
Representing the Northeastern Conference Public Affairs Director is me, and we want to let you know we celebrate the work that you're doing as a conference family, church family. Seventh-day Adventists, you may know by now because y'all been hanging out in churches, but we're probably one of the largest Protestant organizations in the city of New York. We have many, many churches. And so therefore, we're a powerful voting bloc. And so there's a wonderful to see the work that you're doing. This is my first time meeting you. Heard about you, seen your pictures, seen you all over the place. But I'm glad and able to meet you today. Congratulations, God bless you.
So this was a surprise. I was to come and to present some citations, but first giving honor and glory to the one that is the head of my house, and that is my God. I've always felt at home when I come and visit the churches because it's a place where I'm in fellowship with others of like mind and like faith. So thank you for always opening the doors for me and welcoming me in. And while I'm not Seventh-day Adventist, a lot of people at this point think I am because I do spend a lot of time here. And it's just because we've all become, quite honestly, like family. And so I thank you, I celebrate you along every step. But good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
And thank you once again for inviting me to participate in this Seventh-day Adventist Black History Celebration, honoring some of the legends making history in our community. I would like to acknowledge the Northeastern Conference of Seventh-day Adventists and Victory Fellowship Worship Center for hosting this program today. Yes, give yourselves a round of applause. And of course, I'm honored to be among all of you distinguished guests, including my colleagues in government. I know that my speaker, the Honorable Adrian E. Adams, was here earlier. And I know also Assemblymember Alicia Hyman was here as well earlier. And we're joined by my very own Assemblymember Khalil Anderson. And my favorite judge, who's about to be our surrogate judge, because you know how we speak affirmation, right? We speak that into the atmosphere. She is going to be the first black person to hold that position. Not just first black woman, the first black person to hold that. And I'm sure she shared why that is so important for communities like ours. And so let us continue to lift her in prayer as she journeys along for that elevation in her area. We've also been joined by our amazing public advocate, Jemina Williams, who is no stranger to the Southeast Queens community. And with that being said, there were a few folks that I have been requested to recognize today, and it is an honor. The first person that we will recognize, and I assume the certificates are nearby, right? first person we're going to recognize is Maureen Kelman. I won't read all of them because they're all kind of wordy, but I will take the point of privilege to read the City Council citation that reads, whereas a great city is only as great as those persons who give exemplary service to their communities, whether through unique personal achievement in their professional or other endeavors, or simply through a lifetime of philanthropy and community service. And whereas such service, which is truly the lifeblood of the community and the city, so often goes unrecognized and unrewarded. Now therefore it be resolved that as a duly elected member of the New York City Council, that I recognize that in Maureen Kelman, we have an outstanding citizen, one who is worthy of the esteem of both our community and the great city of New York. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. When I was called by Yolando to be recognized, the reason why he felt that I should be recognized is because I was the very first, I made Black history because I was the very first Black actuary to be hired by New York State agencies. And for those of you who most people, I know that most of you here in the church, you have seen me, but maybe you didn't know what I did for a living. But it's a mathematics profession, and I work with making sure that you are properly represented in policies when it comes to car insurance. So that's what I do. I did make Black history by being the very first. And hopefully I will not be the last mathematician, the last actuary around. So I am encouraging our younger people to continue doing your STEM courses, and you do have other professions instead of being a traditional teacher, you can be an actuary. Thank you.
Next week, we are going to recognize Dr. Serena McCullough. Few people can say they have a planet named after them, but our next honoree is an exception, fondly known as the godmother of science research. Dr. Serena McCullough has dedicated her life to advancing science education and research with the most promising youth globally. Her winning practices and students have an unparalleled track record of success in high-stakes international and national competitions in the past 10 years. She has transformed New York's Jericho High School Science Research Program into one of the top programs in the world, producing a record-breaking 80 semi-finalist scholars and over 70 international science and engineering fair finalists. Dr. McCullough has been named a 3-time recipient of the U.S. Presidential Scholar Teaching Award for her rigorous curriculum and has an honorary planet named after her, Serena McCullough, from the MIT Lincoln Laboratory. Dr. McCullough, we appreciate your dedication to helping students see and reach for the stars. Your work propels the next generation to new heights, and we honor your incredible work this afternoon.
to say after all of that. Thank you. I've been working in science research for a really long time, and my goal is to bring more students to STEM, because I think that when they actually are not afraid of it, and they shouldn't be, they are excellent at it. As a result of being named a National Geographic Explorer, I was given a grant, and currently we're working on a new project called the Hidden Prodigy Project, where we're seeking people who look like me and us to learn STEM with professionals in the field so they can go out and get some of that money. Because my students over the last 14 years have won over $2 million in prize money. And most of my students don't look like us, so my goal is to teach them what I've been teaching the kids who don't look like me, to do what we do well, and then take that prize money and go ahead to the top colleges like MIT and Harvard, because we all belong there. Yes. We just don't have access, or we might now get some.
Thank you. We have an astronaut, we have a scientist, we got Black Girl Magic in this space right now. Okay, I was just getting goosebumps with the two women. I mean, I'm just in awe of the gems that we have in our presence. Yes, and this is her church.
That's right.
And I'm sorry, you know what happens when folks put notes in front of you? Okay, I want to go back to Maureen Kelman, and I want to do a proper acknowledgement of you, okay? So, Maureen Kelman broke ground as the first Black person hired by a New York State agency. She started her career out of college in 1991, working for the Department of Insurance. Currently named the Department of Financial Services. She's dedicated her career to ensuring that insurance consumers are empowered and protected from financial harm by providing the tools and information to help them navigate the process. She has been an outspoken advocate of the need for representation in the insurance space, partially when it comes to policy-making decisions.
Amen.
Policy decisions impact generations, and she continues to fight to ensure our community has a seat at the table. When these decisions are being made to ensure our voices and best interests are being heard, Maureen also understands that investing in our future requires investing in the next generation. She has mentored Black students across the city for years, encouraging and empowering them to pursue STEM careers, particularly in mathematics. For your work, we say thank you, and I wanted to make sure I gave you your proper accolades. So, congratulations. They just rushed me up here. They didn't give me a moment to get my balance yet, so please forgive me.
You're doing all right. You're doing a good job.
Next, we are going to recognize another doctor, Dr. Ina C. Richards. Last and certainly not our least honorary is definitely Black Girl Magic personified. At 95 years old, she has lived a full life of service.
It's a mom.
It's a mom. It's a mom. Everybody's like, who got the fountain of youth up there?
Give me some.
She has lived, I was about to say, I have a few grades that need to disappear. She has lived a full life of service, and like many Black women in America, has done so while earning multiple degrees. Another island girl, Dr. Ina C. Richards, was the principal of the Lister Mayor Gilby School for the Deaf in Jamaica. In Jamaica, West Indies, before moving to the U.S. After arriving stateside, she taught at the Lexington School for the Deaf in Jackson Heights for 25 years while pursuing, you ready for this? 3 master's degrees. Wait, I'm not done. And a PhD. At the Lexington School for the Deaf, she advised the parents of Black students on how to help them advance in different careers and professions. She taught the deaf students to dance by counting the rhythms of various songs. She also mentored the first Black deaf student to attend law school and served in the White House. In the early 90s, Dr. Richards retired from Lexington School for the Deaf and began her second act, serving as the educational director for numerous childhood centers. Her dedication to ensuring that countless teachers, students, and families thrived and excelled under her leadership is admirable, and today, I am so proud to say thank you. Accepting this award on behalf of her mother is Dr. Because you know the doctor is going to have another doctor. Dr. Tony Daly.
Good.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor for me to stand here and accept this award on my mom's behalf. She would have been the matriarch of this group. She turned 95 on February the 4th. But due to health constraints, she could not be here today.
No.
If she were here, she would first give all the glory to God. Amen. And she would quote one of her favorite texts, "Is there anything too hard for God to do?" And she would answer it, she would say no. Okay, and she would also just encourage us each in our sphere of influence to affirm each other, to encourage our young people to excel, and just to, mentor. She was big on mentorship. And if there's anyone here considering a teaching profession, she would encourage you because she feels that that is the greatest job of all, is to be an excellent teacher. So I'm happy to accept this honor on her behalf, and she will be smiling from ear to ear when I take this home for her.
And this one, I don't even have to look at my notes on this one, because the admiration and love I have for this next honoree is what I hope folks can see in my actions and my words anytime I get an opportunity to speak about this person. The next honoree is someone who I've known since he was about 14 years old. And he went on, by no surprise to me, to become the youngest elected member of the New York State Assembly. My assembly member, I don't brag, he's my assembly member, I got to cast my vote for him.
Well,
Each and every time. He started at a very young age serving our community. It's so important when you see people in public office to not forget that we're all human. We're not God.
no.
And when you have a public servant that embodies service, you have to celebrate them when you can. Because this is the food that fills them to continue to do the work that we need them to do on our behalf. And I'm so honored to be able to stand before you to recognize my brother in good trouble, Khalil Musa Anderson.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, like flowers too.
Oh, wow, that's good. Thank you so much. Can I ask if you guys give my colleague, Councilwoman Brooks Powers, a round of applause? And to my good friend, our New York City Public Advocate, Jemani Williams, could please give him a round of applause. I am grateful and honored. I thank Orlando and the SDA family for putting on today's services and ceremonies to talk about those who are the Black history among us. Sometimes when we think about Black history, we think about something that we have to reach back for, but sometimes we just have to reach right next to us for. And it's really important to acknowledge those who are living in Black history among us. And I want to say this before I start. Of course, to God be the glory. Amen. He gives us strength, gives me strength to be up here each and every day to serve the beautiful 31st Assembly District. But when I walked in with the queen in the back there, I walked in, I shook a couple of hands, I said, wow, everybody here looks good. I was looking at everybody, I was like, wow, y'all all look good. So you just turn to your neighbor and just say, wow, I look good today. And then just turn to your other neighbor and say, wow, I look good today. Because it's so important that we uplift each other as we're actively working to create Black history amongst ourselves, and as we reach next to each other, we might be the next part of Black history. And I'm just really grateful and thankful for all of us who are committed to not just the history of our Black folks, but our Black future and our Black liberation. Right? We have accomplished so much, but there's still so much more to go to fully liberate our people. So I thank our friends and family here at Victory Fellowship for inviting me here to the congregation. I thank the councilwoman for this honor. I am very surprised. Orlando sends me these things, and I come and I make sure I try to get here, but I didn't know I was the person doing the things. So I thank you for that. One thing I want to challenge everybody with here today is understanding what it means to be Black. Black in high places is not just a skin color, but it is also a political thinking. It is also a criticality that is a way that we must focus on issues that impact our folks. And so it is my hope that as we're celebrating Black history, as we're celebrating the work that this church does to contribute to that Black history, that we are looking at the political leanings and how those political leanings support Black history, Black liberation for our people. So I'm glad to receive this award and honor from my colleague, and I will decrease so I can increase the folks who have to go next. But thank you so much, and it's an honor.
Thank you. And I know I got here a little late to the party today. I was making a trek from Jersey because I knew I had to be here today. And so I apologize for being slightly tardy. But the next person that we'd like to provide flowers and acknowledgement is the Honorable Justice Cassandra Johnson, who, as I mentioned before, she right now sits on the Supreme Court. We are now looking, New York State Supreme Court, we are now looking to have her elevated to the surrogate court. Why this is important, Southeast Queens? We are seeing so many instances of deed theft or conflict in probate when people are passing. We need someone that are going to protect our assets in what is like the mecca of Black home ownership in this country. We need someone who's going to represent everyone, but also make sure that they represent us. And that's why it's important. We need to have a seat at a table that for way too long, we have not been welcomed to that table. We have other people making decisions for our community and our death for our family. And we have one opportunity right now to change that. This is that change. Cassandra Johnson is that change. And so we need to make sure that when we have the opportunity to elevate people from our community that's doing the work, because I'm never going to tell you to elevate people who don't deserve it. I'm never going to do that in our community.
Yeah.
But when we have someone that is doing the work, I have known Cassandra since I was about 19, 20 years old. I won't tell you how old I am now because I'm still 19, 20. And it's been a while. And she was the one that was always there plugging along, volunteering on behalf of our community, never asked for anything, never paid to do it. And she went through school, she became an attorney, and she has continued to elevate because God is ordering her steps.
Amen.
Okay? He is ordering her steps and he has put favor over her life.
Yeah.
But we cannot just rest on that because God gives us the ability to make choices in life. So the choice that we have is to establish a seat at that table for our community or not. And I'm going to just leave it there. We honor you for Black History Month. You are our Black history. Everyone who is honored today, you all represent our Black history, and our Assembly member said it best. We have such rich history as a people in this country, but we have living Black history every day, and it shows the struggle that continues. When we are just now getting the first Black speaker in the New York City Council, when we are just now being able to see people who look like us elevated in these spaces, but we can't get comfortable. Because the moment we get comfortable, it gets taken from us. We saw what happened in 2016. So we can't get left sleeping at the wheel. We have to stay engaged even when we think it's not necessary. But thank you to the entire Seventh-day Adventist community that is here for this Black History Month celebration. We thank you for what you mean in our community, what you do in our community, the food services that you provide to our community, and so much more. So we thank you and we honor you all as well.
So in the meanwhile, while they're on the stage, I have one more sweater.
Go ahead.
Because that's the same one for the wife. Because the wife actually had a arm shed her hand up a lot of time. I don't want to sleep on the couch tonight. So. See again? So, who like orange? You don't like orange?
That's right.
See again?
I said, yes.
Huh?
That's none. That's none. It's none, you born.
I made this one easy. What is the two nationality of our current vice president? First one to raise your hand. Current nationality of our current vice president. Both. Over there in the back. Huh? Say again? Indian? Did you say Indian or Indians? That's not even fair. You see that? Hello? I said nationalities. You guys are yelling it up. Okay, let's try to find another one. Huh? Hold on a second. We're moving on. Yes, sir. But somebody turned it up. Pastor, you can. Pastor Francis, can you come in, please? Yes, I want you.